Welcome back. So I feel like I might ramble a bit only because I have a thought that I want to get out that I haven't really processed the thought just yet. But I know if I don't say it, it might not come out the way that I can feel it right now. So I was thinking about how people play their roles. Even that didn't come out the way that I just initially felt it. But I was noticing how people play their roles. And there was a particular person that I was noticing, and I was just thinking to myself, man, he plays his role. He played his role. Granted, I don't know these people personally. It's just an outside observation of just what I've noticed from watching these people. That sounds horrible too, but from watching these people. But every time I watch this person, he is, he's his cousin's hype man. He is the literal role of his cousin's hype man. He is the person that is there to feed his cousin energy. He's there to tell him yeah, that's the right move for you. You can see this on him, and he does it well. And the thing that really stood out to me is he doesn't try to take his cousin's place. He doesn't. Look, I don't even know if that's his real cousin, but they give cousin energy. I just done made this man cousin. Anyway. He don't try to be him. He don't try to step in and overpower and make his presence bigger than what it is. When it's his time to shine, he does what he does, and it's not come over here and look at me because I'm me. It's more of a, this what I do. If you come around, cool. I'm here for him. And it's I respect it because it's that's his role. That's who he's supposed to be, and he be exactly who he's supposed to be. And I love that for him. But then you got people who they feel like they should be in a particular role, and they try to act according to that role, and it just don't fit. It's you showing up in this way because you feel like that's what you're supposed to be. But when you're in that position, it's not reciprocated the way that it should be, or how it should be felt. I don't even know how to say that right. But what came to mind when I was thinking of these things, and it's backwards. It makes sense for what I'm trying to say, but it literally is backwards. So when Peter was showing up as Jesus's friend, it was oh yeah, Jesus, I wouldn't do you like that, or boy, I cut off your ear because you trying to step to my friend like that. And it's just Jesus would go to Peter and be you gonna deny me? You're not gonna be there for me the way I need you to be. And then Peter literally did these things and felt bad about it, but Jesus didn't condemn him for it because he knew Peter's heart. He knew Peter was trying to be the friend that he needed him to be, but didn't know how to navigate through the situation because it was literally all new to everybody in that situation. But then you had Judas, who showed up as Judas every time. So what I was thinking about was when the lady poured the perfume on Jesus' feet, and Judas was just like, man, we could have gave that to the poor. And Jesus looked at him and was just like, dude, you really don't, like, he didn't tell him you don't really care about the poor, but he said, the poor will always be here, but I won't always be here. And what she did ain't gonna be taken from her. Like, the same thing. It's not the same. So then Jesus and Judas was at the table with the disciples at the Last Supper, and he telling them, like, one of y'all, like, really finna betray me. Like, I didn't already told Peter about Peter, but did he tell Peter about Peter then? He might not have. But he just like, one of y'all really about to betray me, and it's the one that's, handing on the bread with me right now. Like, go do what you're about to do quickly. Like, don't just continue being who you are, because that's who you are. And he didn't downplay the fact that he knew what type of person Judas was, but he didn't like separate him from being what he was supposed to be either. So he allowed Judas in those spaces, knowing what the outcome was supposed to be, because that was his role. And he played his role the way he was supposed to all the way to the end, because that's what he was there for. But then he allowed Peter to play his role the way he played it as well, knowing that Peter's heart was different than the way Judas's heart was. So despite the way I feel like these people would have thought they would have been showing up for Jesus, or how they were showing up and felt like it was the right thing to do in those times, the difference is what made these people, I just want to say, like, the lesson, because that wasn't Jesus' only purpose, but when he was here, a lot of things were lessons, and he literally was trying to teach us how to live in the way that this world was created to be. And what even stands out about that, like, Jesus does the same thing. Throughout the time that he was here, he kept pointing everything back to his Father. And for me, it's like he was his Father here playing the role of what he was sent here to do. All the way to the point where he kept returning the glory back to his Father, even though the Father, because he is the Father, already knew he was going to restore or return that glory back to him, because that's how the plan of the roles was supposed to be. So I don't know how I'm gonna say this next part, but it is what it is. So I was noticing how, how that whole TikTok, there was a time where people were upset with TikTok because TikTok was paying people. And it's like you would have creators authentically come up with something that is catchy and could easily be mimicked and goes viral, and all these people are being paid from it. But there were certain people that would pick up on these things because that's just who they are. They would take these authentic attributes of someone else and run with it. And they were getting paid. And the original creator of these ideas or creative properties, like, that's as simple as you can put it, these people were being swept under the rug, and dang, they're literally out here struggling, because this is real life for some people. and and not even getting credit for what they create, because people were authentically being who they are in the roles that they be playing. So all those words kind of made me lose the original thought that I was going with that. But because I was noticing these things, I was getting irritated, because I respect a person that can authentically be them despite how they feel about the next. Like, just to put it plainly, if you don't like me and you walk in that authentic feeling for whatever reason you may have on why you don't like me, we can mutually agree to be in the same space and not like each other. Like, there's a person that we do this every day. I don't care for him, he don't care for me, and we mutually go about our day not even trying to make it obvious that we don't care for each other, but we mutually respect that we just don't like each other's personality, and we don't make it a big deal. It just is what it is. Like, there's no open animosity, because it doesn't have to be. Like, it's a mutual understanding that our personalities don't click, and we're okay with that. So we don't go out our ways to try to make our personalities click. Like, and that's the authenticity in it. Like, I respect that about him, and he probably respect that about me. Like, it is what it is. And it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't got no problem with that man. I don't like his personality. He don't like mine. I already know. We are some funny people, because he know, like, I already know he gonna know. That's the funny part in there, but he cool. I just don't care for his personality. Anyway, so there was so much I was like excited to talk about this week. But then it's like everything that I would have talked about, everybody around me kept making it a point to show that they already knew what I was finna say. And that in itself irritated me so much, because it's like, if this is an authentic relationship between me and God's given me things to say to be able to express what's on his heart at those times, other people trying to point out that they know my thought process takes the authenticity out of it. So it's just like, well, Lord, what's the point of me telling these people anything if they feel like they already know what I'm going to say, or what you feel like is something that you want to express to people? And I was just like, you know what? There's no point in making a video or telling these people anything, because it's already what people feel like they already expect or know what is going to happen. And I've said this multiple times. If it's not genuine, I'm not going to do it. But I was also listening to another pastor that I normally listen to. Like, that's what I do, like, normally. And what kind of, like, pricked me with listening to him was, he was making it a note that there are people that genuinely want to hear what God has to say beyond the BS that takes place. So it's like, I know for a fact that God uses me as a vessel to communicate things to his people, to help them through whatever it may be that they need helping through. And for me to not I don't even want to say take my role seriously. That's funny. But like for me not to want to be the vessel that God uses me as, because I'm battling between spirits of people wanting to project what their need for control on top of God genuinely being the person, God genuinely being in control and doing what he needs me to do, compared to fitting a timeline or expectation of somebody that really don't even matter, to be honest with you. But still feeling like there's purpose in what I'm supposed to be doing. Like the original plan was exactly this, like being a vessel for God. And it's like there's a perversion out there that tries to snatch what's God and make it a show or make it a performance for people when that's never been the intention. Like, granted, these are things that God can do as a seek ye the kingdom first and all these things will be added to you type of situation. But for somebody to try to force it into a let me pimp the gospel, let me prostitute the Holy Spirit, it's like I won't allow that. Like if I see that being what's taking place, I won't say nothing. Like, I feel that passionate about it. It's like, you're not about to play with my God like that. So for me, it's like a battle between helping feed God's children and, Lord, these people got me messed up because they playing with you like that. But God, now that I'm sitting here saying this, it's like God sitting back like, girl, it's all a part of the roles. Like, that's the point. Like, I need you to do these things so that they can see who I am compared to what they thought this was or what they wanted to try to make it out to be. So I was in this situation where in my mind, I don't want to say I was in panic mode, because I was still at peace even though I was trying to forward think. So I was somewhere where I needed my phone. I needed my phone because I needed it for the time. I needed it to get to places that I needed to be. And like, to me, I needed my phone. To me, I needed my phone. So when I didn't have it, I started thinking about everything else that I needed to be able to still accomplish what I needed to accomplish, even though I might not have had a phone. And my first thought process was, I need a watch because I need the time. Like, I started thinking about where I was at. I'm like, do they have clocks in there? Even if they have a TV, does the TV have the time on it? Like, my first thought process was time. I need to figure out how to make sure I know what time it is. Because even though if you know me, you know, time is not a thing. Like, I'll get there when I get there. But for some people, time is everything. Like, they need you to be where you said you was going to be at, when you said you was going to be there, and doing it, the timing is a thing for people. Granted, I don't understand the thought process between that, because God show up on time every time. But so that's important for some people. So me as a growing young lady, I try to take that into consideration, and I really try my hardest to be on time or think of time for people, because I know that's a big thing for them. So there was a person that told me I needed to be in a specific place at a certain time. And in my mind, that's all I could think about. Like, I need to figure out how I'm going to be able to make it to this place on at the time that this person asked me to be there. And what I did was I started, like I said, I was forward thinking. So I started looking at everybody that had watches. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I could, ask somebody if I could buy their watch. If I can't find a little convenience store or something that I can pick up a watch at right now. And what's crazy is before I even went, my first thought kept saying, get you a watch, get a watch. Like, make sure you have something tangible to be able to check the time, even if you don't have your phone. And everything just made me not prioritize that, even though in my mind it was a priority. So what took place when I told myself from the beginning to make sure I had a watch, I didn't have it at that time. It was just like, okay, that's why that was so important on your mind for this moment. But now that we're here, let's figure out what to do next. So I literally went up to somebody who was like, hey, would you mind if I buy your watch? And the person was just like, well, what am I going to have if I give you my watch? I don't have anything. And granted, I didn't see no phone in his hand, so that might be true. I was definitely judging and like, dude, you probably have a phone. And plus he had a lot of family around him, which I saw that even them, they had watches on as well and phones. So I'm just like, you saying that just to say that, but that's okay, because it made me start thinking about a couple of Bible verses. So it made me think of the Good Samaritan, and then it also made me think of the virgins, the wise virgins. And I'm gonna talk about the Good Samaritan one first. So in the let me actually find the Bible verse. Hold on one second. Okay, so it was Luke 10:25 through 37. And it was somebody like, again, how I keep saying people playing their roles. Like when Jesus was there was Pharisees, Sadducees, and then they kind of, I don't know if the labels matter, but dude, he kept pointing these labels out. Pharisees, Sadducees, and then he would specify expert of law in some situations, which is, like I said, I don't know if it matter, but I'm going to put that out there anyway. So the guy was just like, what can I do to inherit the kingdom? Not inherit the kingdom. What did he say? Let me go back and look. What must I do to inherit eternal life? And often these people weren't asking Jesus questions to authentically hear wisdom in what he was saying. They were asking Jesus these questions to trip him up, to either try to make it seem like what he was saying wasn't lawful, or to try to create something to prove he was in the wrong in some type of way. So in this situation, Jesus asked him, like, okay, so like I said, the guy wasn't asking Jesus to really be asking Jesus. It even say on there that he was trying to test him. And so Jesus threw it back on him like, well, what does it say in your law? And he read what was written in the law, and Jesus was like, you answered correctly, and basically do that and you will live. I don't know about y'all, but some stuff just be, I read what you said, but is that what you saying? And when I read it, it was like, there's a difference between just living and then living and getting honor in what you living through. Like, not saying you doing it for the honor, but it's like you get honor out of it because that's how you living, So when he start explaining the Good Samaritan scenario, what I noticed was he pointed out two people that would be considered like high in the religious hierarchy. So you had a priest that passed by and a Levite that passed by. Like I said, to me, some of these titles don't really be mattering, but it's, it's said like that for a reason. So the priest and the Levite, they somewhat the same thing, right? But they not the same thing, just depending on how politically correct you are, right? So Jesus made it a point to put both of those titles in there, knowing that they the same thing, but they not the same thing. So these two people passed by this person, and then a Samaritan came up and had pity on him and was literally took him in, like took care of him, took him to a place where he could be sheltered and healed properly, and then told the person, like, if he causes any more damage, like, just let me know and I'll pay for it. And Jesus asked him, like, who do you think was a neighbor to this man? And the person of the expert in the law was like, the one who had mercy on him. And Jesus told him to go and do likewise. That is what stood out to me as well, because like in that situation, I don't know Spanish. I really don't. And I don't know Spanish because I really don't have anybody to practice with. And granted, I might throw a few Spanish words out there in my conversation, and it's not to offend anybody. It's just literally me recognizing that that's one of the words that I know, and I'll throw it out there because it's me practicing with myself, because like I said, I don't really have nobody to practice with. So likewise has always been one of my favorite Spanish words, and don't get me to explain why. I don't know, because some words and sounds just, I don't know, I guess that's the Asperger in me. But I like, I don't even know if I say it right, igualmente. So because I was in a situation with that watch, I was basically, like I said before, forward thinking, trying to figure out ways to either fix my phone or figure out what time it is. And where I was at, there was people cooking, and they were cooking rice. So I was just like, hey, do you mind asking these people if they have some extra rice I can buy to, put my phone in? Like, I'll pay for the rice if they have it. And I can't remember how the conversation went, but that word came up. And the person ignored me when I said it. But I think it was more so because, like, some people take offense when they don't know your heart posture behind things. And like I said a second ago, like, some things, I don't know. I just got one of them personalities. Like, if you know me, you know I mean well. But if you don't know me, you could take it the wrong way, because, like, I don't too often explain myself. The way I explain myself on these videos is not the way in real life. If you don't get it, you don't get it. And I'm not going to explain it. And that's why me and that dude kind of don't, mesh, because, like, I don't know him well enough to feel like I have to explain myself to him. And some people don't like that. But that's besides the point. Either way. So the term came out, and it made me think of this Bible verse again, in the same sense where it had me thinking about it when I asked the guy about buying his watch. But the difference in this situation and that situation, like, I can tell from the other person it wasn't genuine. It was more so like how I'm about to go over to these the wise and foolish virgins. Like, I felt like there was that type of judgment on me compared to this Good Samaritan story. So like, it was like, well, that's a you problem. I'm not even in a survival mode right now, but it just, I have to think of myself, because helping you just wouldn't make sense when it comes down to a me versus you situation. When it wasn't even that type, it really was not that deep. But that's the forward thinking process that person was in compared to the forward thinking process that I was in, if that makes sense. Like, for me, it was survival. For him, it was like, dang, you in the survival mode and I got what you need, but I'm not about to give it to you because I got what I need. And that's why that thought process put me into the Good Samaritan Bible verse. So when I was with the other person and I was asking them about rice, he was the one that brought up rice. Like, I wasn't even thinking about rice. Like, my thought process had nothing to do with fixing the phone, because I've experienced phones messing up before. So in my mind, the phone wasn't a priority anymore. I wasn't going to have that phone. I wasn't going to be able to use the phone the rest of this trip. And that's just what I had come to the conclusion of when the phone originally messed up. But because some people raised in different environments and situations and go through things and know a few things, he was just like, hey, maybe we could go get some rice and you could put it in some rice and it'll work. And me understanding what he talking about, I'm just like, you know what? Rice might work. And then we still forward thinking in this type of situation. So I'm just like, okay, we in this situation and these people cooking rice. Can you go see if they got some extra rice and we can, do some things like that? But it was just like, they didn't have it, which was fine. But again, it was still so like, okay, you got a situation going on. I see, you need some help. I'm going to help you in the best way that I can. And I appreciated it. Like, even him trying to help helped. Like, I ended up being in a place getting exactly what I needed to be able to continue on without stressing. And because God is who God is and God does what he does, he created the whole situation from the very beginning to be able to show the distinction or distinguish the difference between the two mindsets. Like, that man wasn't in no survival mode. That man had a watch too, because at the end of the day, I was going to ask him to buy his watch too if we didn't, figure something out. But the heart posture between the two men was so different, and it showed up so different, and it helped me in two different ways. Like, all from something that I already knew that I needed from the beginning. From the beginning, I told myself, hey, make sure you go get you a watch. Hey, make sure your watch work. Hey, make sure focus on this watch. And that watch not that important. It's important, but I'm not going to prioritize the watch because it's just a watch. But to me, in my mind, like, everything, all my senses kept saying, go get this watch. Make sure you got a watch. But God just let it be lackadaisical in my mind so that he can do what he does. All the way down to me getting irritated with the term likewise, because like I said, people kept just throwing that word out there for the purpose of, I know your thoughts, I can say what you thinking. And it's like, yeah, but you can't move the Holy Spirit the way the Holy Spirit moved. You thought, but you didn't know. But that's besides the point. So the next story was it had me thinking of okay, Lord, now we in a wise and foolish virgin situation. Like, Lord, you know me. Like, this is me authentically talking to God, because that's my type of personality. That's who I am. Like, I try to have everything together because I really can't depend on too many people. So when I'm in situations where I have to relinquish being dependable on other people, I feel some type of way because I be in situations like I was with that man where all I did was ask, can I buy your watch? And it was just like, I'm a poop on you because I can. And it's like, Lord, we ain't even have to feel like that if I would have just had my own watch. But then again, I wouldn't have got what I needed because I would have thought just having a watch would have been okay. When I actually needed more than just that watch. I didn't need it, but like it made the situation that much more peaceful. Like I was able to accomplish a whole lot more because of the extra. To me that I felt like I didn't need, but God created the situation so it all could come together for the seek ye the kingdom first and all these things will be added to you type of situation. So the virgin's Bible verse is in Matthew. It's Matthew 25, 1 through 13. And basically, so in this one, I don't know why the number is significant, but like I said, even with the title, some things important to some people, and this one of them things where they felt like showing the difference between 5 and 5 was what it was. So 5 of the virgins, there's 10 virgins total. 5 of them they consider foolish, and 5 of them they consider wise. The first 5, so these is different times. They have, when I think of it, I think of the handheld candles, and our candles are a little different. So when we see our candles, it's already got the hardened wax in the bottom of it. But when I think of, like, when I picture what I'm reading in this text, I'm thinking of those candles in the old Western movies where they walk in their house in their little nightgowns with it's like a candle, but it's like if you know, the way the hookah look, like. Not comparing it to hookah. But the way the hookah look. Child, Lord, why the Lord get why? He funny. I can't look. God funny. Anyway, so I think of it like the hookah thing. So there's oil in the bottom. It's clearly a wick in there, and it's, giving them light. So the wise versions had extra oil to put in their candlestick thingy thing, and the foolish ones only brought enough for what they thought would be the time frame for when the groom would come. But it said that the groom was taking too long to come, and they fell asleep. So they pretty much fell asleep with they candles burning. And by the time that they got the call that he would be on the way, like the foolish virgins ran out of the oil for their candlestick thing. And the wise ones had extra to be able to refill theirs to, have the light to be able to see what's going on. Because I don't know why this man's showing up at night, but hey, that's besides the point. So the ones they're calling foolish, ask the ones that are wise, can they ain't, and that's the difference. Like, these girls ain't even like ask, hey, can I buy some of your oil? They give me some of your oil so I can have enough for me too. And the wise one is just like, no, because if I give you some of mine, then I might not have enough for me and you. Go to somebody that actually sell oil And, hopefully you make it back in time enough to meet the groom. And it felt like that situation with that man, because it's just like, to me, it's a watch. Granted, like, I guess in them situations, it's the same thing. Like, if we looking out for Jesus and you out here just living reckless, hookah. I ain't calling hookah reckless, but that's funny. Anyway, so you out here living reckless. By the time Jesus come, like, do you got time to get yourself together to be able to make it in? And in that moment, it was just like, this ain't that though. Like, this is literally me just trying to make sure I'm on time for the places I need to be for the rest of this trip, because it ain't over yet. And you trying to make this way more than what it is right now when it ain't even that. But when I think about it with these versions, it's just like they in competition. Like, if you thinking it from that sense, like, there's in the text it says bridegroom. It don't say grooms. Like, so to me, it's just like you got 10 women trying to be ready for one guy, and 5 of them, it's a battle in numbers at that time. So it's just like, I'm going to make sure that I'm good because I want this one man, while, if you don't got what you need to be able to get him, that's on you, because, like, this a competition and I want my man. And, like, for that situation, it makes sense. So it's just like, in the other situation, it just really didn't. So to me, I'm in there like, I'm really like, I ain't saying me and God tussling, but like I'm thinking through this like, Lord, you know me, like, if I could be ready in time enough, in the sense of what I feel like ready is, I'm gonna be ready. And he's just like trying to teach me how certain situations don't always go the way that I think that I'm overly prepared for them to go, and how am I going to react in those situations. Like, that was the lesson for me. So despite that man with the watch, like, that's how this whole week kind of went. So there were certain situations where I'm just like, on a normal day, like, things will be running smoothly. I might be, 2-3 minutes late, because, time to me and God is a little different than time to other people. So if I'm there, that's me on time, because I could have not been here, and then that's a whole different type of time, But because I'm here, we on time. That's my thought process. Don't hold that against me. But that's my thought process. But for some people, it's just like, well, I expect this because this is the law and that is the time. Not realizing that I usually stay later than what I'm supposed to if we're going to those senses, but I don't think like that. So like to me, things like that don't matter, because like I said, the way I think about time is different. So when things just start randomly happening, I started thinking back to these situations as well. So I was just like, there's a lesson in this. Like, these things make me look bad. It makes it seem like I'm not prepared in the sense of the type of preparedness that I know that I normally am. And I could try to over-explain, or how the text was saying with the Good Samaritan, like, he wanted to justify himself. I could have done all of these things to make it seem like I'm not the problem. Like, it wasn't my fault. Like, because technically some of these things weren't. And some things just happened. And, like, it was what it was situations. Like, what could I do about it? Like, if things were perfect, it would have went smoothly. But because unexpected things took place, I had to just go with what was taking place and move accordingly. And normally I would get frustrated. And that's what I realized in both of these situations. The difference for myself was like, for the first time in a long time, I actually just allow God to teach me in situations without frustration attached to it. So it was just like, okay, Lord, I know you're doing one of those things where you're doing what you do. What do you want me to get out of this? And how do we move forward so that I'm still showing up as who I know I am and accomplishing what I still have to accomplish throughout whatever this is? Because even though it's, I'm going to have to use the word sabotage because that's the word that came up in this week with what was taking place. Like, in the midst of this sabotage, how am I supposed to still be able to show who I am in this situation? And what was the things that kind of stood out in it was logic stepped in when logic needed to step in, and I appreciated the logic for stepping in when it stepped in, because it's like some situations will put you in a fight or flight mode and you forget about logic. And it's like, even though it was really small, it was a small nudge of, don't forget you could do this, and it was just like, yeah, peace of mind now. Like, that took a lot of stress off of what the situation was causing, because there is this alternative. And then it was just another, like, what's taking place right now, isn't it's not something that's in your control. Like, it's intentionally happening to be out of control for the purpose of the person that, or the things that are trying to be in control, to see the difference between God and situations created to try to mimic who God is. And like I said before, like, because situations are created like that, it makes me not want to show up. It makes me not want to participate, because I don't play with God like that. Like, I don't know. I personally don't. I mean, the Lord do be telling y'all to test him, but I don't test him like that. Like, some parts say don't test him like that too. So, like, yeah, I don't play with God like that. But some people do. And in the situation, I was just like, you know what? This is one of those situations. Don't not show up as who you are, despite of what's taking place right now. Like, even though all of these obstacles are being thrown in front of you, like, don't fall into the trap of what's trying to stop you just because it's there trying to stop you. Still show up in the way that you would show up, just the best way that you can show up in these situations, despite the obstacles. Like, how would you show up despite the obstacles? So what I did was, I still continued doing what I would normally do, but I did it with the obstacles. Like, I wish I could explain that better, but that's life for people. Like, despite other people that might not see or understand that aspect of life, that is life for people. Like, people literally have to still continue to show up knowing that there are obstacles thrown in front of people just because people feel like they can. So when I was going through these situations, it made me understand that I'm not always in control, and being okay when things aren't in control in the way that I feel that things should be in control. So how I want to explain that better. I'm my own person. God created me to make decisions for myself. Like, I am an able-bodied, I want to say in my right mind, forward thinking. I'm not saying the words that I want to say because I don't think I have the vocabulary for what I'm trying to say. But I am more than capable of making decisions for myself and living through and showing up as a productive citizen in society because of how I was raised. Like, I'm capable of being an adult, if I gotta put it plainly like that. Like, I don't have, or I shouldn't have, somebody physically towering over me, micromanaging every thought process or movement or action that I do, because I'm not an action figure or a character in a video game. I am a human being out here living in the real world, making free will decisions because that's how God created me, right? How it's supposed to be, right? But when there's situations thrown out there where there's people trying to control and manipulate and be the person behind a gaming console controlling people, things don't always go that way because there's some weird stuff going on in the world that I don't really know how to talk about. But it's just like, in those situations, what do you do? Like, what do you do? What can you do? Like, if that's a thing, like, what can you do in those situations but try to do your best? Like, what can you do? So, like I said, I get mad. The real me get mad in situations like that, because why would you intentionally try to manipulate a reality when you see that people are able-bodied and capable of doing things the right way, but because you don't like the fact that they can thrive, survive, and be better without someone controlling every little aspect of their life, you have to figure out a way to sabotage that. And the thing is like, even though people feel like we're doing it on our own, they don't realize how much we relinquish it over to God. Like, as much as you think that I'm in control, that's how much I've turned over the control to God. So it's like, what you think is me, you not realizing is God. So it's like, when you going against me, like, people say that all the time, and I just be sitting back listening, but it's the truth. When you feel like you going against me, you not realize it's not me you going against. It's literally my God, the God I believe in, that you're going against. So it's like I said before, where Jesus was here, like, just going through little lessons with people throughout the days. You're like, I don't know why you're trying to recreate things that have already taken place to see what they're like in modern times, but God doesn't change. So what makes you think that the situation would change? The only difference is you're learning who he is while he's teaching me how to be like the example he already sent. So while I'm sitting back like, God, I'm not no foolish virgin, like literally. Hookah. Anyway, he's just like, yeah, I know if you would have did things your way, you would have felt prepared, but you wouldn't have got all the extra and all the not even the things, the experience, the connections, the authentic, like, learn, just experience. Like, I wouldn't have been able to understand like different aspects of me in a different sense if he would have let me do it the way that I normally would do. Like, it would have been like, oh yeah, I'm glad I did it like that because that's what I normally would have did. Ooh, excuse me. In this situation, it was more so like, look how you did that there. You did that because that's how situations created you to be, to think like that. But you did what you needed to do to be able to get to where you needed to go, which I would have made you been able to get to where you needed to go anyway. But look how we did it that way for this. Compared to I knew it would have went like that. That's why this happens, so I could make sure that things go like this. And it's like I was saying before, the difference between, yeah, you lived, but look who get the honor in it. And yeah, I said a whole lot without even intentionally saying the way that it came out to be said. But hey, that's how things go with me and the Holy Spirit. And that's what it was like. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all for now. Until next time.